Last look in the mirror before you leave your house.
You feel good?
Confident.
Today's objective?
Get from point A to B.
No more?
No less.
No stress.
Keys.
Check.
Wallet.
Check.
Phone.
Check.
Good to go.
You close the door behind you?
Walk down the block.
Ah.
Fresh air.
You turn the corner and see a group of guys.
3.
The closer you get, the more you want to turn back around.
But you can't.
Don't let them see you sweat.
Just keep walking.
Too late.
It starts.
Eyes sizing up every last inch of you.
You feel them undressing you slowly in their minds.
Mouths begin to form words.
Words you don't want to hear.
Damn, baby. You wear those jeans for me?
Mami, te quiero devorar.
The hairs on the back of your neck stand up.
Your pace heightens, matching the speed of thumps inside your chest.
Closer.
Just keep walking.
Closer.
Don't make eye contact.
Closer they come.
Don't act like you didn't hear me.
What's the rush?
You feel a hand.
Maybe 2.
Close your eyes and hope you can get away.
Pray nothing happens.
Why me?
It's called harassment.
65% of women have experienced street harassment.
Imagine that every time you walk down the street.
How are females harassed on the street in urban societies? Street harassment is a form of behavior involving sex, gender expression, or sexual orientation committed by strangers and directed towards someone. It is a worldwide issue that should have more attention in order to be abolished. As a group of New York City residing females, we are concerned with the behavior and type of attention given toward women in the city. In New York City, the most urban city in the world, many women and LGBT can say they have been harassed by males. The majority of the time, the males depicted as these predators are lower class, Black or Latino, but can also be males of any race and background. Sexual harassment can be verbal or nonverbal. It can be such things as a whistle, wink, grab, pinch, or catcall. For women, this type of behavior can be frightening, threatening, misogynistic, degrading, humiliating, or just plain annoying.
Generally, females are the victims of harassment. There have been cases where men reported unwanted harassment, but women still remain the number 1 victim. Throughout our research, my group members and I found a video that circulated on the internet and received millions of views. The video was about a female actress who walked in the city for about 10 hours with a black crew neck tee and denim jeans. She also had a hidden camera. Within these 10 hours, she was catcalled, winked, whistled at over 108 times. And she was even followed by a complete stranger for 5 minutes. After this video went viral, the actress received death and rape threats because she put on the spotlight how Black and Latino males persecute women on a daily
How you doing today? Smile. That's not good.
Smile.
What's up, beautiful? Have a good day. Hey, what's up, girl? How you doing? Somebody's acknowledging you for being beautiful. She's an angel.
Oh, bless you.
Hey, baby. Hey, beautiful. How are you this morning?
Have a nice evening.
Nice. Damn.
I'm beautiful. God bless. You're sexy. American Eagle. Hello, good morning. God bless you. Have a good day, all right?
Doing good?
Hey, look at that. It's $5,000.
Yeah, bro.
You want to talk? Huh? We can't be friends or nothing. You don't speak. If I give you my number, you can talk to me? No? Too ugly for you?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Nice evening, dog.
In components of this video, a parody was made, but instead of a female walking for 10 hours, a male was. The man was cherished, given a throne, and carried around the city with a crown. And that says a lot about our society. The video was supposed to be a joke, but it sends out a very clear and loud message that shows the distinction between what a man and a woman walking on the streets of New York City looks like. Anyways, many people were upset about the original video because as it was edited in a way that mostly Black and Latino males appeared on the video, and people saw it as racial discrimination. In New Haven, Connecticut, a sexual harassment case disentangled a Yale University School of Medicine over 5 years ago, and it is now that it has hit the spotlight. This is so outrageous how unresponsive Yale University has been towards sexual harassment in contrary to women. The case involves a former head of cardiology, Dr. Simon, that declared his love to a young female researcher at the school. He also tried to come between the young woman's relationship with a co-worker cardiologist under his management. Even though he had a wife, he believed that she was making a mistake and was choosing the wrong man to marry. Further on, a committee at the university suggested that he be removed from his position, but instead he was only suspended for 18 months by the provost. Eventually, he returned to his position because the provost and the president of Yale denied to comment on the situation, and they completely ignored the crime that Dr. Simon was committing. It is so mournful to know that even while having an amendment that protects the women's rights, women are still being threatened, accused, and being raped with usually no kind of punishment for the perpetrator.
There were over 50 women who were victimized. When these women tried to get help from police, they were merely shrugged off and ignored. Most of what occurred was recorded by people that witnessed the event, and these videos were aired nationwide. After this incident, SHP organized a rally, and after a huge commotion, a number of men were arrested in relation to the events surrounding the Puerto Rican Day Parade. 3 men went to trial, while 2 received a jail sentence. SHP allows women to share their experiences and raise awareness concerning street harassment. This is definitely a step forward regarding this issue, and it is something that I commend them for taking part in.
Founding from gender roles and evolving into the socially accepted hypersexualized treatment and attitudes toward women, the core of the issue begins with men and women's roles in society, but more importantly, how they act in those roles. As depicted in the 10 Hours of Walking in NYC as a woman video, the ethnic majority of sexual harassers were Latino or Black. A flood of outraged anonymous writers and social justice warriors unleashed their righteous fury at the mob of angry feminists. An ultimate battle of the sexes ensued. Street harassment is controversial. Sexual harassment, on the other hand, is a non-negotiable and illicit offense. The discrepancy between the two seems to be a thin, transparent line that serves as a zip tie of compliance on risks of the women who deal with it, and a whip in the hand of a man that says it's not a crime. The feminist movement has birthed anti-man hate groups and anti-feminists that are against the equality for all revolution because of its association with the demonization of the modern male agenda. These people use the history books as shields and the words and actions of the men of the past as an offense, similarly to how African enslavement has a strong degree of relevance in debates on Black people's rights and their justice. What happened to the past has a significant value to the issue of sexual harassment that goes on today. Women. How does your brain depict an image of a woman when you hear that word? Putting aside the many variables that come into play, culture, fashion, history, and so on, what is the idea of a woman in the world? Is there a single pictorial to represent all women? A symbol of a stick person in a dress with long hair indicates a female area only. This is universally understood by people. This is a sign that speaks without words and says women only. A symbol, but how about when a woman is walking down the street? If a woman is wearing a crop top or is covered from head to toe, is this a nonverbal message for those who see her to uninvitingly flirt, touch, or engage with her?
Women who have low incomes, such as single mothers and non-citizens, do not have a clear idea of what sexual harassment is. They are not aware of the laws that protect them. Some fear letting others know what they have been through, and others allow men to harass them because they are scared of fighting back and ending up being harmed. The fact that anyone can't walk down City Street without the high risk of being harassed is an issue. Despite the high levels of incidents, sexual harassment remains unreported. Most women will experience some form of sex-based harassment on other streets. Street harassment is a serious issue because it affects more than half the population of women in the city. A recent study from Stop Street Harassment shows that amongst all women, 23% have been sexually touched, 20% have been followed, and 9% had been forced to do something sexual. Although the law doesn't prohibit the unwanted comments, it is illegal when it is so frequent and becomes hostile. No country will achieve gender equality until we see the issue addressed and resolved.
Street harassment has been an ongoing issue for many years, but has been a recurring theme in media within the last couple of years. An organization that I have recently learned about is the Street Harassment Project. SHP is a New York City-based activist group that works to fight and prevent harassment that occurs in public spaces. It started as a group named Feminist Living Labs, but later morphed into SHP because the constant resurfacing of issues pertaining to women and unwanted behavior from men in public areas. What really catapulted SHP into popularity was an event that occurred shortly after the group was created. In the summer of 2000, an atrocious event took place following the celebration of the Puerto Rican Day Parade in New York City. This is an event which I myself remember seeing on the news. A very large group of men started dousing women with water, ripping off their clothes, and grabbing and molesting them.
Then grabbing, robbing, even stripping victims. Some lost all their clothes in the marauders. Others described being groped at the hands of an out-of-control mob. These two young girls were caught up against the wall and barely got out.
And molesting them. There were over 50 women who were victimized. When these women tried to get help from police, they were merely shrugged off and ignored. Most of what occurred was recorded by people that witnessed the event, and these videos were aired nationwide. After this incident, SHP organized a rally, and after a huge commotion, a number of men were arrested in relation to the events surrounding the Puerto Rican Day Parade. 3 men went to trial, while 2 received a jail sentence. SHP allows women to share their experiences and raise awareness concerning street harassment. This is definitely a step forward regarding this issue, and it is something that I commend them for taking part in.
Elijah Anderson, a professor of sociology at Yale University, wrote an article entitled Code of the Streets, published by The Atlantic Monthly in 1994. He wrote about the psychologically constructed demographics of street and decent people. In short, the 2 groups of people were made to be assumed as a racially distinct, but something that both groups shared was a very similarly low esteem and regard for the position of women. Trophy wives, arm candy, and perfect picture Barbie doll edition of the American dream. It would be untrue to say that all men fall into these 2 categories, but according to recorded historical studies on the culture of ethnically different men, the culprit behind those who harass women on the streets originate from the home and external environment. Parents, tradition, and societal norms. As I previously mentioned, most of the men shown in the video were Latino and Black males. There is a psychological science that directly connects to the cultural and parental upbringing of these ethnic groups of males. There is harassment that goes behind the walls of offices and private spaces, but for the harassment that happens in the public eye and in the city streets, the prevalent victimizers are Latino and Black males. Why? Masculinity takes many forms in the minds of each individual. The trajectory of meaning for a Latino male is different than that of a Black male, but not vastly. Machismo and the idea of being a man is to be strong, to be dominant, and to be in control. Parents, the media, and those who surround this person influence and instruct this person to act in a certain way, and most importantly, treat women in a certain regard. Don't cry. Don't ever let a girl beat you in a competition. Exercise that you are in control, that you are in power. Men are raised, taught, and oftentimes forced into this mold of what, who, and how a man is. The acceptability of a physical, verbal, and sexual abuse becomes ambiguous and unclear, vague even. Victims of street harassment each have a problem to cope and deal with, but the women of the world have an issue that they have to fight for, and they cannot do it alone.